Have you ever seen someone with a broomstick putter and thought, is that actually any easier? Well, today's guest has an answer. His name is David Orr. He is one of the best teachers around. He specializes in putting. He's worked with some of the top players like Justin Rose, Hunter Mahan, and now runs the Flatstick Academy, a great resource to learn everything putting. I've always enjoyed talking to David over the years because man, does he have some good stories, some good concepts, and good principles. And today we're going to learn a few things, but one, his thoughts on the long putter, the broomstick, like what does he think about it as a teacher? And then what I really enjoyed is kind of his taxonomy of putting, of like the different styles of putting you should try on your journey of maybe conventional is not for you. So yeah, we are in the middle of our alternative putting series. We've had some great episodes before this. Make sure to go back and listen to those. And we've got some good ones coming. I'm excited to get into today's conversation. Let's kick it off with what's your experience with Broomstick and Armlock? Like, who have you worked with? What's the process you've taken them through? Like, let's start there.
Yeah. So typically people come to me with, when they come to broomstick or lead arm lock or any alternative stroke, right? Um, I haven't worked with too many tour players as far as like broomstick, but I have lead arm lock, a couple players or whatever. Alex Noren comes to mind. He has an interesting, it's more like a wrist lock and then a trail form drive with his fist, like he's driving his lead arm. So that's a very important thing to distinguish is I think the industry thinks that people only swing the putter when there's a lot of people that hit with the putter or drive the handle. Like there's more ways to move it than the theoretical pendulum. Like I think the industry thinks that every putter should be swung, but that's not what I've come across with my experience of teaching players. Um, I've had a few broomstickers, right? Connor Brown, who I work with right now, plays at Alabama. He's probably the one of the best at it that I've seen. Um, and also Marty Jertson, our friend out at Ping. Um, those would be two people I've worked with that, and then a few other amateurs. A lot of club pros that come in. That have to struggle with the short ones, and
Yeah.
it's but yes, and then obviously, you know, being out on tour for 18 years, 17, 18 years, you know, when you play a practice round with other players, you get to pick their brain, right? And I'll tell you what's an interesting story if you like stories. This one happens to be true. Back in 2015, I was working with Justin Rose, and we were at Albany in the Bahamas. And if anybody's been there, there's not a lot of play. But on the putting green, Rosie and I are working, and then Adam Scott's there. And he goes, Dior, why don't you go over there and ask Adam how he does his claw, right?
Hmm.
So I felt silly, but I went over. I said to Adam, I said, Rosie sent me over here to pick your brain on how you do the claw. He goes, oh, sure, mate. And he spent literally 20 to 30 minutes going through like every little detail on his feels of the claw. So what's interesting is I went over and explained it to Rosie. He's like, let's take the cart back down to the house, get on the Sam Putt Lab, and let's see how the graphs look. And got on there, and the rotational graphs were smooth. He goes, I like this. I think I'm going to put it in play this week, which is the Masters. So we show up at the Masters, and Fooch looks at me like, what are you guys doing? I'm saying he's going to do it by the back nine anyway. And Foley comes up. He goes, are you guys crazy? You changed his technique the week before a major? I'm like, hey, he's going to end up doing it. So that was, and I told him, I said, you're probably going to be better on the shorter putts, but you're going to struggle with flag putting because it's a really different way of holding the club. And I got thrown on the bus. He finished second that week to Jordan Spieth. And if we hadn't changed it, he probably would have won. And then obviously he's been working with my friend Phil Kenyon, and he started with Phil conventional, and then Phil saw the same things that when you got him on the Sam Putt Lab, the stroke was better claw, and then Rosie, I've worked on and off with Rosie from 2012 to 2022 in different roles, different capacities, not just putting, but just different roles. And he admitted to me, he said, he goes, I really like my stroke conventional. He goes, but I don't trust it so much on the short ones.
Hmm.
And he goes, when I go claw, he goes, it feels a little more mechanical, but I feel locked in, and I think so. He chose the route of I'd rather make all the shorter ones and then work on my lag putting, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I know that's not Broomstick and it's not claw, but it's a great story to lead off with because, Adam has probably got the best swinging style of Broomstick. I think he uses a lot of the same principles. I think he anchors it with his thumb, but it's not anchored to the body. And he puts his forearm parallel to the line. I think his lead hand grip is the grip that's trying to keep the butt of the club stable. And then I think he rocks his shoulders more in a vertical plane or a lateral plane, if that makes sense, which goes with the Broomstick style, right? And and he uses more like momentum or swinging and momentum. So swing length and swing momentum is a key factor in why he's such a good lag putter with the long putter, right? But
Well, let's talk about. I want to talk advantages and disadvantages of each one. So let's get right into the Broomstick. Like,
well, in theory, it's the simplest pattern.
why? What makes it simple?
Because it's a fixed radius. So let's just take like literally a lab mes one or a nos one. The shaft becomes a radius because it's going right into the center of mass of the club or relatively close to it. Plus, lab has done a good job of reducing the twisting to minimal to none. So you got this fixed radius that doesn't twist. To me, that's an advantage, right?
And are you saying it's a fixed radius because this side, like wherever you're gripping the broomstick, isn't moving back and forth?
It's not translating. It's not translating side to side. And that would be the key to that style is let's keep the butt of the club in as tight of a kernel or space as possible.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Now, how you power it, the butt of the club might move if I move my shoulders, but if I power it with my trail side, the key is it is a physical radius. Whether it's 42 inches long or 48 inches long or 52 inches long, that's just whatever you fit to. And if you can position your right hand grip to move the shaft in the plane. So a lot of people are, the biggest torque in a putting stroke is not around the shaft. It's in the plane. That's the biggest torque. That's the most forces that are going side to side, not twisting the club and not moving it out of plane. You see what I'm saying? So you got those three axes, X, Y, and Z. People, when they are moving the club side to side, that's the most force, most torque. It's in that plane, not twisting. My thumb and my forefinger can negate any twist of the club. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Well, you've got a putter that's basically a fixed radius.
Yep.
If you can keep the butt cap relatively in a small little kernel, that makes sense?
Yep. Well, so you're saying if I'm hitting a normal putt, my putter is moving, the butt end of this is moving back and forth, right?
When that would be, do that again. Now that's translation. So now move the head and the butt of the club together. So that's translation. There's no rotation taking place.
Yep.
Now move the butt of the club 3 inches back, but let the club head go 8 or 9 inches swinging.
So we're going to go back.
No, you're going to let it rotate. No, move the butt of the club to the right and swing. Yes. Now you have a planar motion. You have translation and rotation.
Okay. Got it. And so this is what's happening in a conventional
stroke or Yeah. So
that it's complex, right? Because there's a lot of moving
because it's no longer a single pendulum theory.
Yep.
Right? Because there's translation involved, right? So translation is just side to side movement, right?
Yep.
So a pure rotation would be keeping that butt cap in the same place and letting it rotate. Go ahead and do that for us.
Like this.
No. Side to side.
Yep.
But you're moving your thumb. Don't move your thumb. Yes. Yeah. So number one, it's a relatively fixed radius. I always add the word relative to those people out are saying, well, I see it moving a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
But it's relatively a fixed radius. And then if you can apply a torque or a force and a torque in the plane, it's a simple method. And then let's put that plane at very vertical.
Yep.
So let's say, what is it? Is the rule, what, 10 degrees or 80 degrees?
I think it's 80, so everyone does 79 and a half.
80, 80 off the horizontal, 10 off the vertical, right?
Yep.
So now it's in a vertical plane, and you just start moving everything in a lateral plane. That's taking care of most of the problems in the conventional putting. When players start moving the putter in the horizontal plane, they start looking like this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I think, and it's legal, so I think in theory it's the easiest way to putt. But
is that just that Adam Scott Lucas Glover style though? Like what about like a Bernhard? Going all over the place, or
well, if you notice that almost all, not all, but almost all, they're keeping the butt of the club in a relatively small space.
Okay.
Now, there's guys like Carl Peterson, or I think Marty putts with his trail arm. So like you can literally hold that butt cab. Go ahead and do that for us.
Yeah.
And then move your right hand grip down. Now just take the putter back with your right elbow and just drive it through. Just drive it through naturally. Don't even think. You're pushing it through.
You're saying the whole thing goes through.
No. Keep the butt of the club in the same spot. Just use your right hand and arm. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the butt of the club went back. See, you got to keep that right. There you go. So that's not being swung.
Yeah.
It's not a swinging pattern. That's a drive pattern.
Okay.
So
you said that a couple times now. What does that mean? Swing versus drive pattern. Define that for us.
It's got angular momentum around it's a circular motion, right? It's being a rotational motion, which is, I think, a pulling motion. True rotation's a pulling motion versus it being pushed. So it's almost like you pulled the putter back with your right arm and you pushed it forward. You are driving the handle. That makes sense. So I think the problem in the golf industry is everybody has this swinging pendulum concept. And I'm just here to say that not everybody swings.
Yeah.
Heck, greatest putter conventional all time didn't swing. He hit. It was Tiger Woods with his trail hand. He had some swing blended in with it, which is what I would call more of a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Carl Peterson, if you look him up, he had some shoulder rock, but he also had some right arm drive. That makes sense. So there's more than one way for the club to move. But I think as an industry, we think of swinging, we think of pendulum, we think of that swing length is what controls distance. In a swinging pattern, that would be true. In a drive hold pattern, hand speed is what controls distance. Hand speed would be, here, hold the butt of the club up. Hold the club up for us. Now, just take your right hand and drive the handle forward. No, the handle, not the head.
Oh, the handle.
Yes, but use it with your right hand. Drive it.
Like
that's what Alex Noren does with a left hand low grip. Go ahead and do left hand low grip.
Okay. Now we're standing up. Here we go.
Yeah. Now, see how your fingers of your right hand are near your forearm?
Yep.
Go ahead and lock them out. Go ahead and push the handle forward till it touches your forearm. Keep going until it touches. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Now you take your right hand and drive that left arm and club forward. Good. Now make a backswing long enough to drive. Yeah. And keep driving it. Yeah. Now you got to go a little bit longer backswing to drive it more. You'll see the butt of the club going forward and up.
Yep.
That thing is not swinging. The club's not swinging.
Yep. Here, you might like this. I've got props here. We got this ready to go. I knew this was.
Yeah. So same. So now go ahead and do left hand low. Do the Alex Noren. Yeah. Now just drive the butt of the club with your trail arm. You can even straighten out your arm if you want to. Straighten out your right arm through the ball. See how your right elbow's bent? Yes, that's it. That's driving.
Huh.
Yeah. So
interesting.
The length of the backswing is not what's determining the distance. It's the hand speed. So we got two ends of the club. We got club head speed. We got hand speed. nobody's talking about hand speed. They might be talking about hand path, but what about hand speed, right? What controls hand speed? My arm speed and my torso speed. That makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay,
there's
someone's sitting here listening, and they're like, "Do I drive this or do I swing it more?" Help
well,
them
great,
navigate this.
great question. All right. If you're swinging it, do you focus more on length?
Okay.
So how far the club head's traveling, and then do you feel like it's swinging itself, meaning more momentum? That makes sense?
Yep.
Or look at your right arm and right hand and see how active your right arm is. If
Okay.
you have a very active right elbow and a very active right hand, you're probably driving the club. Now, when you demonstrated go ahead and demonstrate the left thumb on top.
Yep.
Now drive the lower portion of the club with your right arm. Yep. Good. Just go ahead and swing it. Just do it a little more natural than that. Yep. Here,
You
don't
got-
even use your shoulders.
All
Just
right.
keep the butt of the club right there. Keep your left
Yep.
thumb. Look where your left thumb is.
Gosh,
Yes.
that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, that's it. Now, that's actually really easy to do.
Yeah.
Now, how important is your right hand grip?
Well, I think it's pretty important because it's how we're applying that force to the club.
100%. So a lot of guys tend to go a little bit under. So let's
Okay.
go Tommy Fleetwood, kind of right hand a little under. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Maybe put it in the web of your right hand.
So like this is kind of how I
Yeah. So look at how your forefinger. Yeah. Let's show us under. Show us under the club.
like
Turn.
this.
Yep. So that would be like Tommy Fleetwood. Make a motion like that.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. And your shoulder rocker. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go one finger on top, one finger across the top, across the
Sure.
top.
Like
Yep.
that.
Like that. Now move it like that. Okay. Good. Now let's put everything on the side of the shaft. So your right arm's going to change. No.
Like this.
No. Right hand, pronate yeah. Keep moving your elbow out until it's in plane with the shaft.
Oh,
Now go like that.
interesting.
So there's lots of ways to position the right hand.
Okay.
And it's really important for people that drive the club.
Huh.
Because if it's positioned too far under, go ahead. Let's do it
Yeah.
too far under.
So too far under would be like this.
Yep. And then if you were to drive your right arm out, it'll move the club out of plane on the follow through, like in to out.
Oh, okay.
You
So
see
it'd be
that?
going like this. We'd be going in to out, maybe going
Yep.
that way too
And
much.
your tilting is making it go vertical. Yeah. Yeah. And that interesting, right? Now just do two fingers across the top like rabbit ears. Two fingers. Yeah. And then put your ring finger on the side. No, ring finger on the side. Yes.
Okay.
But two fingers. Yep.
Okay.
Maybe stretch your right hand down the shaft so your right arm's not so bent. There you go. Yep. Now go ahead and control it there. So there's lots of ways that this can be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
How do you so every conversation I've had with folks, like equipment folks, we always talk about there's a phase of you got to figure it out, right? And I went through that when I started, and it was just like, we're gonna do stuff, we're just gonna hit putts and like figure it out. Like, is that what you would say? Like, try these different grips, do this, do that. Like, how do I figure out what to do?
I don't throw stuff against the wall to see if it sticks. Like, I kind of knew based on how you were holding it and how you were moving it, how it should move.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's get back to the simplicity of it. The broomstick is a relatively fixed radius. It is behaving like a single pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to minimize the translation of the butt of the club.
Okay.
Keep it in as tight a space as possible. Even if you're shoulder rocking, keep it in as tight a space as possible.
Yep.
Like a tight kernel, we call it. That makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And then figure out, can I swing it? So like Adam.
Yep.
So he's got a large shoulder motion, so he's got to get length.
Yep.
And I believe he's got a really heavy overall weight. Like, I think his head weight might be slightly heavier than my overall weight of my gamer.
We had Sam, I think, said it was 512 maybe. I'd have to go back.
Okay, so my putter is 512.
Okay.
With the head, the shaft, and the pin grip on it. It's
Nice. I
512.
like it.
And for me, that's heavy because I've always putted with 500, not the head, the overall weight. So I've
Yeah.
been head weights of 340,
Okay.
335, 340, 345 right now is the heaviest I've been possibly ever. But that makes sense because now with the it's no longer a single pendulum when you're putting conventional because every segment and joint behaves like its own little pendulum.
Hmm.
Like, can you see my upper left arm swinging relative to my chest?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pendulum. You see my upper right arm swinging relative to my chest? That's a pendulum. But the club's translating back. So that's why conventional is so it's like a Scooby-Doo mystery. Like people can't quite figure it out, but it's the same plot. That make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah. So you have to now the key thing is when you putt conventional, you have to coordinate all this.
Hmm.
And the finer motor coordination you have, the better you tend to putt. You're just more precise. The face returns a little more squarer. So if we get back to the broomstick, to me, while it's legal, and I always say that, because I would have rewritten the rule.
You would have banned it.
I wouldn't ban it. But the way I would write the rule, everybody would be putting with a putter that is equal to or less than the shortest club in your bag.
Okay.
Grip it how you want.
Okay. All
You want
right.
to choke down on it and lock it on your elbow? Fine.
Okay.
But it's going to be equal to or less than the shortest club of your bag.
All right.
So how long's your wedge? How long's your lob wedge?
I don't know. Just standard length. What's standard length log wedge? I don't know how long that is.
35 and a half, maybe
Okay.
36. But then somebody goes, well, what if they're 7 foot tall? Well, aren't their overall length clubs longer? So you got Shaq O'Neal playing golf and his clubs are 2 inch over. Well, okay. Well, his wedge is 38 inches long. You know what I mean? So I would have written the rule differently. Yeah.
That is an interesting part of the story. Okay. So broomstick, what we've learned so far is it is more simple biomechanically, right? Like,
Whoops, sorry.
you're good. You're good. It's more simple biomechanically than
It's simpler in theory.
in theory.
When you get that upright, it actually is simpler because the movements are more lateral than horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
It's correcting a lot of the behavioral issues that players have with short putters.
And is this why people go to the style when they want help with their short putts, right? Like it's just the complexity and the nerves.
Yeah,
and now this new style helps us.
Look at Lucas Glover. Like I've known Lucas since he was at Clemson. And you want to talk about a great guy? He's a great guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you saw his stroke with the short one, you would feel a lot of compassion. And now you see how good the stroke is. Like, go look at his stroke on YouTube. It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's why I think. So, some players have concepts on how they think the putter should move. I think going to the long putter matches how he thought a putter should move. That's why there's no more conflict in his concept or his feels because now they're matching what he believed how the putter should move. So and plus it's a brand spanking new pattern, probably minimal to no trauma in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, guys at that level, like those guys are the best in the world. And all of a sudden you've got just this glimmer of hope and belief. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, like they become like Superman, Superwomen. Yeah. They're unbelievable. Like even on the LPGA tour, you see them get like just that little glimmer of hope and boom, it just takes off. Right. But yeah, so I, and now as far as like Bernhard Langer, I mean, I'd have to see him in person and ask him personally. So I can't really judge whether he's anchoring or not anchoring. The thumb is not on the sternum.
Yeah.
The question is the forearm touching the pec? And you can only see with a shirt. Like I'd have to ask him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell me, is it touching your pec?
Well, that's the other style. When people start experimenting with the brooms, is do we go, parallel with the lead arm to the ground, or do you do some kind of more different style, right? Do you think there's another way, or is it like this is the way you got to do
Well,
lead
I
arm
think
like
if I
this?
were to shoulder putt in the lateral plane, I would do
Mhm.
my arm out like this.
Okay.
Like,
You,
I
so you
would
think everybody should start there? If you're going to try one, start there.
start there.
Yeah.
Try swinging it.
Okay.
Like, go watch Adam do it. Pull up YouTube and watch Adam do it. Matter of fact,
Yep.
there might be a couple videos out there him explaining it because he's very good at articulating his feels, right? And what he's trying to do. So
Yep.
try to swing it first, and you're going to need arc length, right? And you're going to need good timing and cadence to swing
Yep.
the putter. That makes sense?
Yep.
All I'm trying to say is not everybody swings the putter. So now what's the second way of doing it? Second way of doing it would be the trail hand and arm. And I'm reversed for some reason. I look left-handed on my screen, but using the trail arm to pull the putter back, you might need a little help from this side of the like the right shoulder pulling it up and back.
Okay.
Not the left shoulder, but the right shoulder moving up and back, and then let your right arm do what it wants to do. That makes sense?
Yep.
But you got to remember, you're standing so vertical,
Mm-hmm.
like within 10 degrees, 12 degrees, that the putter doesn't have a lot of horizontal arcing to it in the first place. And it's minimal twisting, so you're not having to manage that. And then the thing weighs so much that all you got to do is get a little bit of momentum on the downswing and let that sucker let it go. But some players use their right arm, their right hand to push the bottom of the club, right? Versus the
Yep.
top of the club. Top of the club we call driving. Bottom of
Okay.
the club we still call swinging with the trail arm, if that makes sense. But
Okay.
that's why I think it's so important getting the right length of the putter, and then how far down. If our listeners experiment how far down the shaft and how straight your right arm needs to be.
Hmm.
Like that would be one of the exercises that I did with a guy that does long putter. I said, okay, I want you to do it with your hand up here. Okay, now I
Mm-hmm.
want you to hit go in 2-inch increments here. And then we went down every 2 inches until his arm was straight.
Okay.
Let me demonstrate real quick.
Yeah.
I'm using a short putter, but so starting with my hand up here, yes, go down 2 inches. See my right arm is straightening out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Straightening out. I mean, where would be the best place if I could do it? Where would be actually where the center of mass of the club would be balance point wise? Find the balance point. Like if I could really do it, I'd put it there.
Huh.
Now, what do you
Interesting.
notice is staying stable?
The butt end of the club. You're not
Yeah.
moving that.
Now, if I start to move my shoulders, now that relatively fixed axis is going through my body,
Mm-hmm.
maybe to behind my spine, right? But so this is the easiest way, pushing on
Yeah.
the balance point.
Huh.
But now look at my right arm, right? I think players are going to do better with their arm longer.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And this,
Yep.
by the way, is toe hang.
Yeah.
It's also too short. But I think play around with different vertical placements along the shaft to find where you want to push from. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
And even also same thing, I'm going to go into swinging. You ready? So it's more my back muscle is more of a down up.
Yep.
You can see how the right hand here is not really pushing because
Yep.
there's straightening.
So is the swinging versus driving, could we simplify that down to that if you're focused on rotating your shoulders and back throughout, you're probably doing a swinging motion, where if you're staying still, it's more driving.
You could water it down that way, but you still, even if I'm going to drive it, I still got to get this shoulder to pull the putter back.
Okay.
Because it's going to feel weird going, or I could do it with my elbow.
Yep.
Or I could just pull it back with my hand, put my thumb on this side and go back like that. There's lots of ways to do this. That makes sense?
Yeah.
But Adam Scott, I swear, is using more shoulders like this and much more in the vertical plane. That's why you'll see like He's so good. He's so good. It's almost as if he's just holding the club with just his left hand.
Yep.
That makes
That
sense.
it's funny. It's funny you say that. I talked to Sam Hahn, and he said that's a drill that Adam does. Is he just putts with his left hand?
Yeah. So that would be, we'll call it the Adam Scott drill then. But you can see now the length of the stroke is, and then the momentum.
Yep.
See how it looks like a swinging motion, even with a heel shafted 8802?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, my thumb is keeping it from twisting.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep.
So boom, boom. Yeah, put the right hand behind. Just sit here and practice going boom, boom, right? So if you can do this drill with coordination, then you just find where you want to be with your right hand grip. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now I'm probably guessing a longer right arm. That way, because you got to remember, the more the arm is bent, the more it can straighten.
Okay.
If it already starts out, let's say, bent 10 degrees, and then my wrist is extended, a little bit of ulnar deviation. So extension, ulnar, right? Now my arm's not going to participate. It's not going to interfere with that. Plus the elbow is going to clear the rib cage better.
Yep.
You see that? Now, if I get my elbow here, that might be the worst place to put it. See how my elbow is on my side seam? That could be the worst place to put your right elbow in golf, because what's going to happen is your trail upper arm is going to roundhouse. You see, watch my bicep, my upper arm. It's going to want to leave that position. That's why from here, it's got to feel outward. Whenever you're here, the drive is outward. And that closes the face. This movement right here is the biggest problem in conventional as well as lead hand low. It's the I think Steve Elkington called it the dirty bird.
Okay.
Because the wing, you don't want a lot of, you're going to get some internal rotation, but you don't want a lot of it. That makes sense?
Yep.
So I think for our listeners reviewing, this stays stable. Do I do the Adam Scott drill? Right? That's what swinging is going to feel like.
Yep.
Or do I take it back with my trail shoulder back and up, pulling the thing, and then let my right hand and arm drive it through?
Yeah.
Or just the right arm?
Well, I think the key part with the drive that you said, which I resonate with, is if you're extending your right arm, right?
Correct.
If you see that happening, then you're driving it through.
You're not swinging.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of advantages. You've done a great job selling broomstick putters. So
and then let's talk about the putter.
Okay.
I think there is no better design, and a lot of people think I'm anti-zero torque. I'm not. I'm 360 degrees of torque.
Okay.
I think there's an advantage at zero. Face balance to me is 90 degrees of toe hang.
Yeah. Okay.
Toe down is 180. There is a company that has made a putter that is face balance, face down. So now the putter is pointing at all 4 points of the compass.
Okay.
Here, 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 and here. I'm 360 degrees. Now, this putter here and this putter here is for somebody, but not everybody.
Okay.
But the problem is we've been playing golf just in this quadrant alone for how many years?
All of the years.
Yeah, from east to south, right? Like a ping putter's there, right? So face balance to me, because the putter, first of all, they're showing you with the shaft horizontal, and the revealer shows you the shaft at an angle.
Yep.
So it's not a fair fight. Make sense?
Yep.
Even my thumb and forefinger alone, why isn't I'm just holding this with my thumb and my forefinger. Why isn't the toe flailing open? Because it doesn't take much to negate the torque. So the torque is actually face awareness. It's face awareness. Now, interesting key. This is a note for our listeners. When you go from center shafted to heel shaft and lots of toe hang, you want the overall weight of the head lighter because it's going to feel heavier. The inertia feels heavy.
Got it.
As you go towards center shafted and zero torque, you want a heavier head. you need to understand that relationship, because if I showed you a zero torque blade, which my good friend David Frisch from Goodwood Golf made, like what would it feel like in a conventional blade? You can't feel the
Mhm.
head,
Hmm.
period. It feels like
Okay.
just a shaft.
Yeah.
So when you go zero torque, you must go heavier head.
Got
That
it.
makes sense. And as
Yep.
you go back towards toe hang, you might want to ease off on the head weight. So the worst thing I see sometimes is somebody comes in with a heel shafted mallet and the head weighs 365, and they're wondering why they can't get the face to come back to square. It's because there's just too much mass
Hmm.
in the head.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, the Mez 1 Max, is that correct?
Yeah.
Versus the Oz 1.I with the steel insert, which I think is a big deal.
Okay.
If you're coming up short with the grooves, consider changing to the insert with the steel insert with a milled face. Give you a little more ball speed.
Mhm.
And I think Sam would agree with this, that the initial aluminum with grooves, there's a tendency towards a slow ball speed, which would be great if you remember at Oakmont
Mhm.
or Augusta or Seminole, right? But if you're playing on slow Bermuda greens down at the beach, you might want to have a hotter face,
Yep.
if that makes sense. So, do you know the new HS, the heel shafted lab?
Yep.
Does that come with the insert?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think it does.
it'd be brilliant. And then what I'd like to see them do, and if Sam's listening, why don't you put the stainless insert on the directed force?
Yeah.
Now you want to talk about really good for lead arm lock, which we need to go into now.
Yep. Well,
I
before we do that,
okay,
I do. Are there any? What are the broomstick disadvantages? Like what can people, besides people hating in comments on YouTube videos about how?
it's all about coordination. How good is your
Okay.
coordination, right? So if um, lie angle balance means that you can keep the lie angle from moving out of plane. That makes sense. So none of that technology works if you have a non-planar stroke.
Mhm.
Do not use lie angle balance or zero torque putters if your putting stroke is non-planar. Non-planar means, do you see how this thing is going everywhere it wants to go?
Mhm.
That makes sense. Guess what you probably should be using? I'm holding it up right now. Okay,
Yep.
these putters like to go shallow or low and inside. That's just the design of them. They just love to do this.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Um,
Which the broomstick is a planar switch because it's
it's a
simple
linear
one radius.
planar. Yeah.
Right.
It's so like center shafted. You just go, you know what I'm saying? So but the problem is most of the training aids are too flat. Like it's the shaft plane needs to be set at if you're talking the lab, right? With
Yep.
the shaft axis goes through the center mass
Yep.
or even overshoots it a little bit. But, anything that's a linear, vertical, that makes sense,
Yep.
fairly planar. But if you have a non-planar stroke, meaning your shaft arcs too,
Mhm.
not just your sweet spot, but your shaft arcs, don't use these putters.
Got
But
it.
the directed force, yeah, boy, if that had a different face on it. I actually have a couple here. I actually have a couple of the first ones that Mr. Pressey sent.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see a bit of
So I actually have 11 of these, not two of these,
the
right?
originals.
Yeah, with the forward press shaft and then the
Yep.
grip angling back. And if I were to put claw, I'm using this.
Hmm.
But again, it's how, like, do you see my right arm and elbow
Yep.
there?
Yep.
And then I'm putting my forefinger down the shaft because this is the only grip that goes in my lifeline. Every single one else goes this way. Like the pin
Okay.
grips are here. So look I mean, there I am. And then I'm going to make sure the ball position's forward because of the offset, the onset, excuse me, and then the shaft. And then from here, I'm probably going to swing it with my shoulders.
Mhm.
And then I might have shoulder and a little bit of right arm with this motion. So it's like, if I were to go to claw, I'd either do this one or I'd do the axis one, which is the one that Rosie
Yep.
did. That makes
Yep.
sense?
Yep.
So now lead arm lock. Again, now the radius is offset. So it's no longer in the middle of my body. It's over.
There's got to be let me take a guess. Is there a lot of translation then happening in lead arm lock? Because it is
Well,
moving.
because the arm is translating,
Yeah.
right? So the butt of the club is translating. So now the radius is somewhere in space up by
Yeah.
your lead, between your lead elbow, lead shoulder, but the radius is now, it's more of a brush stroke, like low high,
Okay.
because the radius is no longer in the middle, it's offset,
Mm-hmm.
meaning my hands are offset, which gives us a clue what kind of hosel should we have. Probably offset
Mm-hmm.
with the correct amount of loft.
Yep.
And then the shaft lean, that's up to you. If you want to feel more locked, you probably want the 2-degree shaft lean or the wrist lock grip that you just showed.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to lock out that radius and then drive it? Like driving it. See, you can see that I'm just driving my hands forward.
Yep.
How active is my right arm? You see what I'm saying?
What it has to it does that in an arm lock. Oh, you can go probably either way, right? Can you keep it more passive, or you could do more
Yeah,
extending and drive through?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I find it interesting, and I don't know if I'm correct on this or not, because didn't Adam win his Masters with a short putter? I think he did.
Gosh, I can't remember.
I think he did, but I think
Okay.
JJ Spawn might be the first guy to win with zero torque.
He was, yes. Yep.
Yeah. So how cool is that? And he's left hand low.
Yep.
So what's funny is these alternative putters are matching alternative techniques.
Hmm.
They might not be a match with certain conventional techniques,
Mm-hmm.
but they have a place in the market. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
So
and they're
so
here
when
to stay. I've come to the realization, like, I'm not fighting this anymore.
yeah.
If you can aim your lab and you can return it square and you don't have speed problems, I ain't saying anything about your putter. You can see on my feedback, on my Facebook feedback or Facebook page, like there's plenty of people that I'm giving a lesson to have a lab putter. The
Mm-hmm.
only people I'm taking the lab out of their hands if they're struggling with their speed. So here's a special note. If you see yourself short and left, short and left, short and left, there's a very good possibility that the ball speed is too slow off that face,
Hmm.
and that zero torque is reducing the rotation in the backswing. You're putting that normal force into it and it's going left. So if you got the short lefts, it may be a mismatch. That makes sense.
So we're gonna guess they came from a toe balanced
They might have
blade.
come Scotty Cameron, like at
Yep.
135, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think people that tend to have that pattern, short and left, short and left, short and left, and then you put a little bit of toe hang, like 90 or 100 or whatever, 10 degrees off face balance, like boom, it matches, right? But lead hand, so I find lead hand low, lead arm lock. I would probably be doing this one.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't they make one that had a smaller footprint? Is that the
Yeah.
DF3? Yeah.
We got the DF3. Yep.
Yeah.
They've got that one.
So I actually designed my first 2 putters with David Frisch at Goodwood Golf, and they were not blades. One was a absolutely beautiful wide blade. It's gorgeous. I stole every good looking concept from Cameron and Bettinardi and all these custom guys and said, okay, I'm going to put these all into one putter. And it is absolutely gorgeous.
Interesting.
Matter of
Okay.
fact, I'll probably text it to you. I don't know how good you are at.
How can I? Okay. What's the website? Let's pull it up. We'll
Well,
pull it
no,
up.
it's not on. It's not for sale yet. It was just
Oh.
designed.
Okay.
But I'm going to send it to you via text, and we're going to see how good you are at posting this.
Yeah. We'll pull it up. We'll pull it up on the screen here.
Pull it up. So it wasn't a blade putter. See, everybody thinks I only fit blade putters. I don't. I just wanted to design my own non-blade putters. That makes sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just sent you 2 3D prints
Okay.
of what they would look like. And if you can pull them up on the screen, that would be really cool.
I am going to try.
Well, anyway, yeah. So lead hand lock, a lead arm lock. It was great. So in 2022, St. Andrews British Open, I was with Rosie, and we were playing practice round with Bryson DeChambeau, and Bryson
Mhm.
was showing me how he does it.
Yep.
Again, a very upright plane, lead arm, and then he torques his upper arm and lower arm against each other,
Mhm.
right? And then he's a golf machine guy, so he knows what tracing a straight plane line is. Does that make sense? And then
Yep.
he's got like lots of shaft lean, but also lots of loft. And doesn't he use a sick putter that has the variable loft?
I think so. Yep. Yep.
Depending on whether you hit it high on the face, middle of the face, or low, there's different
Yes.
planes of the loft, which is a pretty nifty technology. I think Steve Patterson back in the day, like in 2013, 14, 15, I think he owned Sick. I don't know if he still does or not, but he had showed me that technology, and that's pretty nifty.
Yep.
But Bryson, if you'll notice, so a lot of times with lead arm lock, you will see, because the radius is here, you will see a lot of head movement up and back.
Hmm.
That's good behavior for lead arm lock. That's good behavior for lead hand low. We don't want to see the head floating and the torso floating toward the target.
Okay.
So typically when the radius is locked out, you'll see tilting. Like that's normal. So, Brad Faxon, who's a good friend of mine, and and I have his 3D data, like the body data. And he's like, Dior, my head moves back. I'm like, no, your head moves back the most and you're the best. Because he actually sets up open and tilted. That goes together. And then when he goes through, he tilts his head as he's turning his head. And then he tilts his spine. So his head moves the most. So keeping your head still is not a fundamental. We just don't want your head floating forward. We don't want it dropping or extending too early. Like it needs to be fairly stable up till about impact, and then after impact, the good kids' heads move back. So, did you get my text there? Or no? Did they come in? Said red. So you've seen what they look like. Whoops, you're on mute.
Sorry, we're gonna get these pulled up here. Oh, this is not ideal, but we're gonna do it anyways. Okay, so here you go.
Oh wow, boom. They're not blades.
Not blades. Tell us
Yes.
about what were you working on here? What are you doing?
So I've always felt like the footprints are too big.
Okay.
Like even on the number 7. So David Frisch, who's a good friend of mine of Goodwood Golf Company,
Okay.
and he does make long putters for Longbow.
Okay.
Longbow is a good friend of his. That company, he makes long putters.
Yep.
Called the Explorer, I believe, or something. But you can look those guys up. But so I go up to his garage in Maryland, and we're literally in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, "Yeah, I want 2 new designs to put on my website." And he goes, "I want your thoughts." I'm like, "Okay, I think the footprints are too big." So this is actually a shorter wide blade. I also you can't see it but down the line, the toe has some rise to it. So it looks like the toe's in the air, but it's sitting
Okay.
flush. That makes sense.
Yep.
And you'll notice that we radiused everything. Like look at
Okay.
the shoulders and the bumpers, and everything's soft.
Yep.
So I did the same thing with the number 7. There's the only thing that's a straight line is the face.
Mm-hmm.
Face plane.
Yep.
Everything has been radiused. That makes sense. Now,
Yep.
that's a smaller number 7 than you're used to seeing.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
And we're using either a post or a hole for a single bend. I wanted to see a number 7 with a single bend, and we trim the shaft maybe an inch or two to get a certain desired toe hang. So this will be a 10 to 20 degree toe hanging number 7.
Okay.
And I got to pick the names. So the model on the left is the DO11.
Okay.
It's the DO, David Orr,
Yeah.
11. 11's my
Okay.
favorite number. It's what I wore in most of my jerseys in high school. DO11. It's
Okay.
a wide blade that looks so good. Now, keep in mind, these are 3D prints. These are not metal. These are not a
Mhm.
finished product. The other one we call the MF7. Now, MF for a lady would be a mallet fanged number 7. So if you're selling it to a lady, it's an MF7. It's a mallet. It's got the fangs and it's a number 7 model. So MF7.
Yeah.
Now, if I were selling it to a guy, it's an MF7.
Yeah. I like
So
that. Okay.
David and I kind of always joke about, yeah, how many of those MF7s are you making? All right. So, but
I
it
like
was
it.
fun. It was fun to really learn to get on a CAD system, right? To really understand what goes into, you start with a basic shape on a CAD,
Mhm.
just like you would a billet of steel. But rather than wasting money on trying it out on steel, David uses a 3D printer
Mhm.
because it's saving me what, $60 a steel,
Mhm.
And the cool thing is once you get the 3D print, you put a shaft in there, you get an idea what it looks like, size wise, shape wise, radiuses, and all that cool stuff. Then when he decides that, okay, I think we got it, then you run a one off. So
Mhm.
then you put it through the CNC machine and it takes a lot of time. And then all of a sudden you actually have the first 101. So it was fun because learning to locate the center of gravity of the club relative to the center of the face, relative to the
Mm.
shaft, that relationship is what makes putter designs.
Yeah.
It's not just what it looks like. There's a whole, you know, where's the shaft going to be? Where's the center of the face going to be? How high what's the depth? Oh, by the way, I'm a MF7.
Mhm.
Do you know how mallets tend to be shallow faced,
Yeah.
low center mass? No, this is the same height. In the middle of that MF7 is the same height as your Scotty Cameron.
Okay.
And the center of mass is forward and it's higher. So you don't have to lift it. You know how Rory misses some putts a little thin
Yep.
because the putter's like lifting?
Yeah.
On a mallet, the center of masses tend to be low and
Mhm.
back. So you actually have to have some lift, which creates more rise angle and maybe occasional low hit strikes. So same thing, you know, now what's interesting is if I were to make that MF7 for a long putter, you want a bigger footprint.
Mhm.
So the smaller footprint is actually for the conventional. But I just want to dispel that David Orr only does blades because that it's out there that David Orr only does blades. So I didn't want my first design to be a blade. It's more of a wide blade or square back. And my second design is a mallet. It's an MF7.
I like it.
Now I'll go back with David and let's. I don't think I can do a better blade than David. David Fritsch has two models. One's the G6, one's the G7. One looks like an answer two, and one looks like a conventional answer, rounded. So it's one's more squared off, one's more rounded. And then he's put his little touches on it, like removing some ledges and things like that.
Hmm.
But we were talking on the phone, like pretty much every geometric shape has been made. Like to really like come out with a new design,
Mhm.
it's like everybody's copying something from everybody, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
And you look at the lab, right? So the lab has gone from the directed force, right? Footprint, it's large. They've made a smaller footprint.
Mhm.
You look at the Mez one. I think at first it had a big footprint, then they had a smaller one, I think.
Mhm. Yep.
And then the Oz one, right, which is more mallety looking,
Mhm.
more like in the D-shaped family. It'd be interesting to see if they make a smaller footprint of that one. And they've done the heel shafted one now, which I haven't seen yet. Which technically isn't heel shafted. It just means the shaft still, I think, going really close to the center of mass. And they might have tricked some weight in the heel or whatever to make it lie angle balance. But it's not truly heel shafted. Heel shafted is this is heel shafted.
Yeah.
This is heel shafted.
Yeah.
They're just got a post that's located toward the heel that's a certain hosel height, which by the way, that's another way to get rid of toe hang is changing the height of the hosel.
Hmm.
And that's what we did with my custom blade that David made me. We went with a custom, you know how you got like maybe an inch and a quarter
Yep.
height of a plumber's neck
Yep.
versus like 3 inches, right?
Mhm.
You know, so it's interesting, but lead arm lock, I think like lead arm lock claw is a deadly combination.
Okay.
Think of Webb Simpson.
Yep.
Like you're locking in the radius again. And then again, what are you doing with this trail hand? You're just trying to put force and torque in the plane.
Right.
So if there's a common theme between broomstick, lead arm lock, it's a fixed radius. It's you are trying to control the butt end of the club as
Yep.
well as the head end. That makes sense. And I think,
One of the disadvantages Marty talked about with Armlock a lot was leg putting being more difficult.
yeah, and
Tell us about your thoughts on that. And I mean, is that why we don't see more people doing it? Because it is less than
you got to get the
long
loft
putter.
correct. So Alex Noren took a lesson from me on tour a couple years ago. And he goes to me, he goes, do you know I got the most RPMs on Quintic? Like he's got the most RPMs on
Okay.
Quintic. And I said, "Oh, that's great. How you doing on your uphill left to righters?" He goes, that's why I got a lesson with you. Is why. I said, because you're launching them into the slope and into the Bermuda grain, and the ball is hopping, and you're judging your distance off that hop. I go, how much loft do you got? He goes, 3. And I said, well, your shaft lane looks like it's more than 3. So you got negative loft into a slope, into friction. There's a wall. Like the ball hits a wall of grass and then it bounces. So how good is that RPM when you're launching it into a slope with high amounts of friction? It's not helping you. So he goes, well, how much loft do you think I need? So I had him on my Capto and I knew what his shaft lean was. And I said, well, the minimal amount, I think his shaft lean was 4 degrees.
Okay.
Now I think about it. I said, well, I like to see a launch of about 2 degrees. So what's 6 minus, or 4 plus 2? He goes 6. I said, that's what loft you need. Because, I don't know if I can do that. Because now he's going to reduce some of his RPM.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to replace it with a better launch, and he's going to have a higher launch speed. So what's interesting is I think Paul Hurrian's on his Quintic, like if you get a green number, if it's 1.75 launch,
Okay.
that would be like on a artificial surface. We're playing golf in a real world grass. Biv Wadden did some great talk about going from artificial to real grass. If you ever get an opportunity, you should interview him on artificial versus real grass. That'd be a good topic. Biv Wadden.
Okay.
So what's interesting is I think Scotty kind of is intuitively right. Like they're out there in the POA country, right? And the fescues. Like I think the launch angle's got to be up there more like 2.5, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like the taller the wall is of the grass that you're launching into, the more loft you need. Makes sense?
Yep.
So what's funny is when I used to do Adele putters, I had a 2 degree lofted putter. But I tend to have 1.5 degrees of shaft length. So now I'm launching it at 0.5. Well, I had that toppling Alex Noren RPM bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it looked good.
Yeah.
Right. And what's funny is I'm all the way back to playing like 3.5 degrees. So 3.5 minus 1.5 is 2. So I'm launching most of my putts at 2. And then I used to hit a lot up on it. Now I'm moved the ball back closer to low point, but not quite. My ball's still left a low point. It's only like an inch and a half left a low point. I'm almost launching it more now like a knuckleball, like 2 up with a 2 degree loft. Like I'm launching it with the least amount of spin. That makes sense.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I could be totally wrong, but I've seen my personal lag putting get better. So lofting up, not lofting down. That makes sense.
If someone's like, oh man, this is super interesting. How would someone check this? What tech do they need to check how they're launching?
Quintic Paul Hurrian is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever interviewed him?
No, I don't think so.
Well, there's a second topic. Dr. Paul Hurrian.
There you go.
He is the ball roll expert. His system is worldwide the best when it comes to ball roll launching. If that's what you like to get fit for is ball roll, he's the guy. I would say of all the fundamentals, that's the least knowledgeable I am, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I've come to appreciate like the change. you know? So, and a lot of my launch stuff comes from Biv Wadden. And Biv and I were talking about this. I said, yeah, I've been moved the ball not as far forward, moved it back. It's still in front of low point. My rise angle used to be like four, I don't know, 3, 4 degrees when I'm putting really bad, brushing up 5 degrees. And I've moved it back to almost like two. And the delivered loft is two. And like, man, I'm getting some good ball speed. Now, it's probably launching with no spin or little spin, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think it's interesting. So,
So
um,
let me bring us back to Armlock here. So we kind of talked about how it works a little bit. Um, who would you say should try a long putter? Who should try Armlock? Like what? How would you
look,
guide someone if they're
it
thinking
all
about?
depends on coordination. Like that's the reason why you're going to these is you lack the coordination with the short one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now go to lead arm, go to left hand low.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, go to claw before left hand low. So let's give it an order. I've
I
been
like
putting
it.
with a short one, and I'm missing a lot of the little ones, right?
Yep.
All right, go to claw first. Learn to stabilize the top hand, and then find the right arm length, right?
Okay.
Then go to left hand low. If you're left handed, go to left hand low. Makes sense?
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of players that putt left hand low, but still drive the club with the trail arm. Jordan Spieth.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan Spieth is a good left hand low example. You can see the butt of the club translate,
Yep.
especially after he's hit it. Watch what his club does after he hits it. Makes sense?
Yep.
It doesn't have any influence on the ball, but you can see what the brain's going like. I want the club going there,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then probably lead arm lock, claw, like
Okay.
Webb Simpson, or lead arm lock, wrist lock, and drive like Alex Noren. And then I guess we got to go to the broomstick, right? And then you either got to do it like Adam or you got to do it like, the trail side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hate to say it, what comes after the broom is pickleball.
There's your.
Because you've pretty much exhausted. Now that's when players come up with really alternate. Like I saw a guy who was lead hand low claw, like he's pulling the putter through with his left arm. I actually have a video of that. Like, I mean,
Ugh.
the modified grips, it's amazing for the simplest part of the game. It's amazing how people struggle with the simplest part of the game, which maybe we've been lied to. Maybe putting is not the simplest. It looks innocent, doesn't it? Like you just knock the ball into a little gopher hole. Isn't that what Robin Williams used to say?
Yep.
But yet it causes how much trauma as soon as we miss a 2-footer.
Lot of
Like,
lot of trauma.
yeah, exactly.
Lot
And
of trauma.
that's where the pickleball comment comes in is I'm done with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um,
Well, let's end on this. I need your prediction. So right now, using the long putter, who do we have? We've got Lucas, Adam Scott, Akshay,
yeah, Akshay's
Zalatoris. We got a handful of guys. 5
yeah.
years from now, is it going to be about the same? Will it be double, triple that? Like what do you think?
I'm not Nostradamus, but I think Lucas's stroke has gotten better
Mm-hmm.
because I think the concepts of the long putter match his belief system. Now Zalatoris, there's a good example when he was struggling with it. The putter was not moving in the vertical plane in the backswing. It was moving in the horizontal. So you can see the putter move like the radius moves inside, and then
Mm-hmm.
he was almost missing the face. Remember that?
Yeah, I've seen that video.
So,
Yeah.
so whatever training aid he was on or concept he was taught was he was trying to arc. Don't try to arc these things. They arc themselves, but very little. But
Okay.
if you get one of these things and you're trying to arc that shaft that much, you get what Will was going through a few years ago. Like, remember, I think
Mm-hmm.
it almost looked like it stayed on the ground. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a hovercraft. It went like low inside and on the ground, and then he mishit it.
Yep.
Like that's a total plane and hand path issue. Do you know what I'm saying? when
Hmm.
all he had to do was go back and up, let it fall, come back down, forward and up. Like work more in the vertical plane with these things. Do you see what I'm saying? Even my
Yep.
hands got a little horizontal,
Hmm.
but it feels very vertical. So I think, these putting mats that my good friend Phil Kenyon come out with,
Yeah.
don't use one of those with a broomstick
Okay. All
because you're
right.
going to start arcing the shaft. We don't want you arcing the shaft. We want you arcing the sweet spot in a plane that's probably anywhere from, I don't know, 10 to 12 degrees or whatever it is, whatever
Yep.
your specs are, right? Now, oh, there's another thing. If you get too far away from it with a long putter, then you're going to start contending with the shaft arcing too much. Does that
Got
make
it.
sense?
Yep.
So stand close where you can see the line, get the length right, get the weight right, get the loft right. Um, Make sure the ball position's left to low point. That's important.
Yep.
I would probably hover myself, like, because you know how easy it is to like catch the ground in the backswing because the putter's on the ground.
Hmm.
I might would probably lift it up a few millimeters. That makes sense. So it's just so much easier to take away the draft angle on the putter's not grabbing any grass. But yeah, I mean, as long as the rules are written way they are, then as long as you're not breaking any rules, then go for it. If that makes sense.
What do you think? Are we going to see more of this 5 years from now? Do you think we're going to see people keep adopting?
Well, I think this guy I sent you a video of should have just signed up for lessons. That makes sense. Like
Okay.
instead of spending $600 on a putter, why don't you spend $500 or $750 on so you understand some correct concepts and then get a putter, whatever it is. This putter fitting is another discussion on another day
Okay.
because you're going to get 10 different putters from 10 different fitters. So, but I don't know. 5 years from now, I think people are still trying to solve the riddle. Why doesn't my ball start on line? Why, it's funny. Why does my lab putter twist? Well, the reason is where my expertise is joints rotate. Joints and segments of the body rotate. So that's what's imparting the twist. Putter, the zero torque putter is not twisting, it's you are. Why isn't it staying square to the path? Because your path's not centered. It's not on, you know what I mean? Like, I have not seen any putters fix poor mechanics.
Hmm.
I have seen well fit putters who with people with good mechanics, it could be the difference of a half a degree. That makes sense, but it
Yeah.
can't fit poor concepts and poor mechanics. But I think the simplest concept in golf is, this is the simplest theory right here. Whether you swing it, drive it, or hit with it, um, that's just kind of the way you coordinate your movements. So, the question is, are you putting with the long putter?
I am. Yeah. I've been for a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the difference?
I mean, I'm a big fan. I I had the right hand just felt weird over short putts, and I just couldn't. I mean, I can look great if I go on your green behind you there, and you have me putt, and we did a lesson. I bet I could look awesome, and it
Yeah,
would
'cause
be just
it's a safe environment,
exactly. But
right? No,
I don't want to hit a left to righter 5 feet in a tournament that way, though. I'm
yeah, but
not interested in doing that.
there's a reason why that's a different environment. Like this is a safe environment.
Yeah.
It could be the safest. Your putting mat at home.
Hmm.
Then the practice green is a little more dangerous than this, but it's still safe.
Hmm.
Then going out playing on your golf course, your home golf course, by yourself is a safe environment, but it's harder than the practice green.
Hmm.
Then when you get invited to a country club to play in a member guest, now the threat has gone up more. That makes
Hmm.
sense. And
Yep.
then when you get in contention of a tournament, it's like five different environments, five different levels of stress. At some point, you're not mentally and emotionally prepared to handle it, and your stroke breaks down.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think golfers appreciate from all these tour players. All the tour players that I've seen are just geniuses. They're great. Some are better than others. Some are struggling, but they're geniuses. These guys are so good. Like there's a huge gap. Like even though, like what is it? Number one on tour was positive 0.9 strokes gained, and that was Sam Burns. So
I
you're
don't
only
know.
gaining one stroke per round.
Yeah.
But see, everybody's looking at putting the wrong way. Oh, I got to make more 15 footers. No, you don't. You got to reduce errors. You got to reduce your green reading errors. You got to reduce your speed errors. You got to reduce your line errors. You might have 2 to 3 errors on the same putt. It's error reduction. You don't need to make another 15 footer. You got to stop missing these 3 footers and 2 footers and 5 footers.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing you say is I went to the long putter because that left to right 5 footer became a problem.
Yeah. And
You probably
and
should
it's
just
worked. I mean, I'm not
yeah.
like amazing now, but like I feel better. Like I feel like I have a real chance to make this.
Well,
You know?
and also because the putter design probably isn't gonna, it's still gonna rotate due to the length and curvature, but it's gonna rotate less. So on that
Mhm.
left to righter, there's less rotation. You're gonna find that a left to righter is a lot more friendly
Mhm.
versus your right to left putts now become a problem. So now you got to play maybe a little bit higher line, which is always good, you know. But yeah, I mean, 5 years from now, I don't know.
Well, based on our conversation, it sounds like you believe there definitely be more people using a broomstick versus an arm lock. You because like
Well, I just think it's the simplest way, but I
yeah,
would go in the progression that I described.
yeah,
That makes sense. Go to
yep.
claw before left hand low. I could do an entire dissertation on why that is, and it has to do with the right arm and the right wrist. But yeah, and the thing that I don't want to see junior golfers going to the broomstick. I don't want that to be the first putter they learn to putt with.
My 7-year-old has requested a broomstick.
Well, let them have one. But to me, and I've said this before, that every child should learn on an 8802 or a bullseye first
Mhm.
to develop face, head, and shaft awareness. Those 3 things: face, head, shaft awareness, right? Then they can move to the technology. So it just really, I would not want to see a 10-year-old or 12-year-old in a junior tournament putting with all this technology and doing the long putter. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Now I could be convinced to change my mind. I can, because it is theoretically simpler. But there's a reason why they had the Sam Snead rule
What's that?
when he no more side saddle
Oh, yeah.
or straddling the line. Like
Yeah.
when it's competitive advantage, the rule has to change. Like when everybody's dominating with broomsticks, you see what I'm saying? Then we
Well,
go to the David Orr rule, right? Which the club has to be equal to or shorter than
well, let,
the.
let me pin you down with another prediction then. Will the rules change, do you think? Do you think we'll see another rule change? And
You want to? Do you want to revolt? I mean, do you want lawsuits? Because these guys' career depend on it.
yeah.
Their livelihoods, like Webb Simpson's livelihood, dependent on that change. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, Adam's livelihood. Although I think he might be set for life. You know, um, but it's a touchy subject. But the way the rules are written right now, it's legal.
Mhm.
It just saddens me to see junior golfers, like even when they come to me with claw, it's like, dude, I'll teach you how to hold the club. I'll teach you how to make a great stroke. I'll teach you to become face aware, head aware, shaft aware. And then if you're still having problems, then we'll look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the kids just mimic what their favorite player is doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did that, in every sport, mimic my favorite player. You know what I mean? Um, you know, I couldn't wait to get my first pair of Nikes, which is
Yeah.
the same thing as getting my first Scotty Cameron. But now that's going to be replaced with I can't wait to get my first lab putter.
Mhm.
And you got to give Sam Hahn kudos. Didn't their company just sell for like to a private equity firm for like 200 mil?
I think yes. Yeah. No, it's really cool. It's one of the great stories in golf right now, of
Well, it's probably the story, right? Especially from a business. Like, how good of a business deal was that? I mean, if I had that
right.
deal, Sam, if I were you, I'd be having my chalet on Snowmass in Colorado or whatever it is, and I'd be skiing every day, and then I'd be skiing in South America or Australia in the summer, and I wouldn't be worrying about putters. You know what I mean? But that's
I
me.
think you still would be. I think you'd still be pretty worried about making putters.
Yeah, but
I don't think you can get away from it.
yeah. So, but yeah, I just think that there's a part of me that is still old school and classical and artistic. That's another thing that people don't know about me personally is that I pull from both ends of the spectrum, being very artistic and creative versus very scientific and
Mhm.
data driven. Um, that's why I couldn't wait to design those putters, and none of them had sharp edges. They're all
Yeah.
radius. Curves are great, So, but no, great podcast on this. I
That was
hope,
awesome.
I hope, I hope people understood there's different ways to do it. That the swinging model isn't the only model.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Um, the progression of conventional to claw to lead hand low to lead arm lock to broomstick to pickleball, that progression
Yep.
is a good progression. So
Hey, David, here's the deal. In the next 6 to 9 months, we got to find a time when we're together at a putting green and we're going to do a video and let's go through that progression and like you
we
talk
could.
about where to take people through because that'd be great. People would love that.
It would be fun, wouldn't it?
That'd be really cool. And so people want to learn from you more.
Yeah.
Flatstick Academy. Is that still the place to go?
www.flatstickacademy.com. I've got two different products on my website. So I have the subscription model, which is the $9.99, which is basically I'm just dripping whatever is on my mind that week or 2 weeks. So it's very disorganized. Versus we have now digital product packages like Short Putt Focus is my favorite video package. It's like a package of 12 videos, all the drills.
Nice.
We're actually getting ready to film Long Putt Focus here in the end of October. I have Flat Stick Fundamentals for people that want to know what are the fundamentals of a putting stroke. Flat Stick Fundamentals is really good. And I'm just being honest. Don't buy my Flat Stick practice plan because that was our first shoot. And the videographer didn't know what he was doing. And I don't think Matt and I knew what we were doing. So don't buy that one. But I think, the short putt focus right now is really top notch. And Flat Stick Fundamentals, those would be two that I would purchase myself.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm my biggest critic. And I was like, yeah, these are going to suck. And then you watch them like, man, we did pretty good. You know what I mean? So I'm actually looking forward to filming the long putt focus. We're going to go from Pine Needles over to Southern Pines Country Club, which we own, and they have what's called the Over Hills, which is probably it's one of the larger practice greens in the world, and it's got tons of crowns and saddles that it's almost probably one of the most difficult practice greens. So we're going to be filming our long putt focus on probably one of the most challenging practice greens in the world, and you're going to be able to see some balls moving a lot. I don't think
I like it.
there's not too many straight putts on that green. So,
Perfect. Flatstick
and
Academy. That's good.
yeah,
You
thank
always
you very
have the best ideas. I always enjoy learning from you, David. So thank you. Thank you for your
much.
time. It's super fun.
Perfect. And I think we should film that progression. That would be a great idea.
It'd be so good. All right, stay tuned on the YouTube channel, folks. We'll get there eventually.
All right, man.